Where'd y'all's clothes go?
Keeping a Landry one.
Ooh. We gotta get you a handshake now that you didn't.
I know, right?
You didn't been initiated.
We don't even have a handshake.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, it's your girl KylerB coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to talk about Love Island USA Season 7 Episode 22. And let's get right into the video because Casa Amor has come to end. We're basically into this Casa Amor recoupling. So let me go, chronological order before we get to the good, whatever that happened in this episode. Because first and foremost, do not do Casa Amor like this ever again. Do not do this ever again. This twist, I understand. They wanted people to actually take Casa seriously, actually explore people, try to actually not have this be a boys' holiday, but really take time to explore connections. Everybody's coupled up, utilize these people, But yeah, don't do this like that ever again. This whole format that they had the recoupling in was just not it. Unfortunately, just don't do that ever again. So back to Casa. Nick and Alejandra had a kiss. They, had a kiss, basically, came downstairs. They were trying to keep it a secret, that they kissed, They, Alejandra was cold. Nick took off his, shirt, gave it to Alejandra, and then he was doing up, handshake with Taylor. So Alendra's like, why don't we have a handshake? And he says a comment maybe you're not, maybe you're not just liked. But I'm just like, dude, that's so nasty. That's so nasty to say to somebody that you basically coupled up since day one with, to basically tell her that you don't have a handshake because you were not liked. All right. Anyways, back at Casa, basically the whole dynamic is that Shelly is getting to know, Chris and everything, Also thinking about Ace. But the thing about it is that Chris in that challenge, when he picked up Huda with that one arm, Huda got on his radar. So Huda is having a chat with JD. And the chat was basically, JD kind of saying oh, you like to dominate, That's probably why we lost that, challenge for the, the game thing, So Huda's oh, okay. She basically was off that with that one conversation. So she's got up and said good talk, and it just, that was over. That was dead and dusted. So then later on she talks to Chris. But before the recoupling, when, after they got that text, Huda pulls Shelly for a chat and basically tells her that, oh, Chris is her only connection. So she is well, essentially, if you want Huda to still be here, Huda to actually explore somebody, she's between Ace and Chris, might as well. Truly and honestly, I feel the decision that Shelly made in this episode was gonna be the decision all along. I don't think she was gonna really stray, but I'm just saying that also was a factor why the decision was made. It's just so you know. So back at the villa, okay, Nick and Alejandra, they have a chat, and basically the chat was after they slept on and everything, Nick kind of said it was a great kiss, everything, but Sierra's not here. He has to tell Sierra, and it's it's better as friends. Same thing with Alejandra. She said it's good kiss, but it's better as friends. So Nick and Alejandra down 1,000. So it was they were up, but now they're back down. And it's just I feel it's just way too messy to even try to pursue that at this point in stage. Waiting until Casa to try to explore that. No, this is too much Friendship Island. No shade to the season, but this to even explore that is very messy, very, very messy to do. Maybe during week 1, sure, but all the way down here, not even down here, but 3 weeks in, no, that's too messy. So Nick and Alejandra basically better as friends. She's still focusing on Taylor. Nick is he can't wait to see Sierra, So that's basically how they're going. They're going back to their original couples. So that's how he got it. So now let's get back to the text. Before this happened, JD, he now realizes that, like, okay, Hood is out the picture, so he's talking to Amaya, having chats with Amaya, whatever. You know, Zach and Amaya having a chat, they kind of, like, you know, connected over, you know, hearing for people, you know, had a little, you know, little chat about that, and, like, grow a little closer in that connection. So, and then I think later on, Iris and Zach with a C, and Drina and Brian, they're having fun, they're cool, they're good. Like, that's the locked in couple. Like, who else is gonna be there? Coco and Ace are having a chat, basically, like, you know, asking if Ace is the jealous type. And I mean, basically with that conversation, it seems like since he's invested with Shelly, he's obviously going to be a little bit jealous to whatever's going on in Casa Amor. So basically that conversation, it was like he was leaning more to Shelly, but he was also saying something like, oh, when, like, oh, he has to, you know, pick between two different girls. Like, he had a lot of good chats with Coco, like, not one bad chat, like, you know, that's his type on paper, Basically, you know, Coco is a good girl. So, you know, so they get a text. They were like, Casa is coming to the villa. So let's get to this episode, the whole meats and potatoes. So the girls come back from Casa. They're in the villa now. They're with their couples from Casa. So they basically, like, you know, welcome the boys. Like, do you want to know what happened at the villa? You know, somebody got sent home too. So they welcome the boys and their couples one by one. So it was Ace, and then after Ace, it was Taylor. So they were like, okay, so where's Nick? So Sierra started crying, like, where'd Nick at? The boys know that both Nick and Alandria are still back in the villa. But the girls are, like, having them cry and shed tears, like Alandria left and Nick was gone again, was wicked. Like, the fact that they were being the only ones not knowing in the know is so wicked for them to, like, redo that again. Because Amaya was crying, Sierra was definitely shedding tears. Like, everybody was just sad because Nick wasn't there. The guys know Nick is still in the villa, so just, like, having that happen was crazy. Anyways, they finally bring in Nick and Alandra. They were like, oh, they got dumped, but they had a lifeline. They had to couple up together to get back into the villa. So they're like, you know, yes, finally. So the girls ran to Alandria, you know, Sierra, she ran to Nick, kissed Nick. Like, so when that happened, Elon, who was in the couple, was just like, you know, oh, he sees. And then Zach is over here trying to, like, hype him up and basically say, like, you know, like, it just never wasn't going to work out, it wasn't going to work out,
No shot.
So that's someone she's not seeing in ages. That's just someone she's comfortable
That's true.
with.
That's true.
And then they, like, whatever happens, like, yo,
That's
it is what it is, man.
You're
You bad, bro.
You're right. Appreciate it.
Like, you know, he basically was on a losing battlefield situation, because obviously the reaction to Nick being in the villa, being still here and, like, jumping into his arms and kissing him is basically showing you she was never gonna pick Elon. It just wasn't gonna happen, wasn't gonna go. Ariana basically says, you know, to recouple from Casa Amor is basically stick or twist, which was very obvious that's how they're gonna do. Either stick in your Casa Amor couple or twist back to your original couple. But their stick and twist was, you write the name of the person that you want to couple up with, and if you have the same name as the person that, you know, want to couple up with, you guys are a match and you guys get to be in a couple. So Pepe, he is with Grayson, you know, okay. Adriana's with Brian, okay. TJ, surprisingly, you know, he was coupled up with Vanna, but he decided to go to Iris. So, which I was actually surprising, because they were only, like, you know, exploring each other, like, maybe 2-3 days with her Casa. So it was like, for people who were speaking on Kane last season, like, Kane had 3 days with her Casa. So with that being said, yeah, so TJ and Iris are now a couple. Austin, he went first. He got coupled up with Jaden, and then he was in a couple with Amaya, but Amaya, of course, she decided to couple with Zach. JD also wrote her name, so, you know, the wigs have turned around for Amaya, because 2 guys were standing to be in a couple with her. But I mean, he already knew it was done and dusted with Huda, so I mean, what else? But at the end of the day, she coupled up with Zach.
Amaya, why did you choose Zach K?
There was a spark there. This is someone that I could see having fun with, and the real universe.
and she's in a couple with Zach, and you know, JD is, you know, vulnerable, single, da da da. So then it was Ace in the middle, and it was like, you know, whoever had Ace's name, you know, stepped to the mic. So Shelly and Coco both stepped up. Shelly and like Coco were basically dressed very similarly, like yellow, lime green with a flower in your hair, like hello. Like they were very much dressed similarly. Like it was kind of wild. Anyway, Shelly had Ace's name, you know, Coco had Ace's name, of course, and Ace had Shelly's name. So I was like, yes, they are back together, my people, my clients, yes.
We have a match. Congratulations, Shelly and Ace. You are now a couple. Yeah!
So basically, obviously what I was telling you guys before is that obviously when Huda said like, hey, Chris is my only option, I feel like that's also what swayed her decision to go back to Ace. But obviously, you know, I already said, you know, in my other stuff that 3 days to a 3-week connection, 2-week connection is not gonna stand up. You know, it really depends on how solid that foundation is. And Ace and Shelly had a very strong connection, strong foundation, even going into Casa Amor. So the fact that like it was never gonna get shaken up like that easily. Now maybe if they had the same 2 weeks both, maybe that's a different story. But with what's being said right now, you know, they missed each other. They really were like thinking about each other while they're away from each other. Like, those are my people, those are my clients. Like Shelly and Ace, okay, let's go. So then after that, you know, that left Coco single and vulnerable. So after that, Sierra, who had both Nick and Elon stand on her heart, whoever wrote her name down, whatever. So Sierra, she had Nick's name, Nick had Sierra's name, Elon had Sierra's name, but you know, it was very obvious Sierra's gonna recouple with Nick, so that's just obvious, like, hello. So then the next person to stand was Taylor. Taylor stood, Alondra and Clarke both stood with his name written down. So we were just waiting for what's Taylor gonna do. So come to find out, Taylor decided to couple with Clarke. So that left, you know, Alondra single, and therefore all the girls, like Maya, she was ready to jump Taylor. Huda was like, you are too easy. Like everybody was just, all the girls were just shook that, you know, Taylor picked Clarke over Alondra.
Oh my God. Taylor!
But I'm just like, they probably weren't seeing what we as viewers were seeing, because Taylor did not like Alondra. I already said that from jump, week 1. I said Taylor is not Alondra's man, is not Alondra's man. But Alondra, sister in Christ, my sister in Christ, this episode wasn't your episode at all. Like the fact that you know, took pictures in the photo booth of yourself and then kissed the back of it and then put it in his dresser drawer, and you still didn't get picked by him. Oh, my sister in Christ. Like, movie night will probably be your, you know, the one time that maybe your eyes will fully, you know, see how, you know, Taylor was really like being about you, because this man did not like you for real. The fact that you had to initiate basically everything in that coupling, plan the dates, do all the stuff, like be the man in the relationship is crazy. So for you to not see this man didn't like you, and especially you being the villain at the same time as him getting to know Clarke. And then like her and Clarke had a, you know, conversation earlier in the episode, and Clarke, you know, she was saying like, oh, it's like good for her and him to have like this test. So Clarke was just saying like in her mind, like, you know, I'm not a test. This is not a test for me, da da da. Like I don't know what Alondra's thinking, that they have some solid foundation. Like it's not there. I'm so not sorry, but like it's just not there. So anyhow, you know, Clarke, though, she was very smug, though, because she was just really smirking and smiling when, you know, Taylor picked her, and it was just like, all right, girl, calm down. So Alondra is single and vulnerable. So Ariana was like, okay, we have 6 people who are not in a couple, so it's up to the Casa Amor people and the Villa people to decide who gets to stay from, you know, each, you know, situation. So basically across the board, the girls were like, Elon was very much more open to getting to know more people, like, you know, let's save Elon. So now the boys' elimination, like Nick, Ace were basically Team Alandra. You know, Nick was like, sorry to Clarke, but like maybe in 2 days, you know, Taylor might change his mind and be like, let's go run back to Alandra. So I'm like, I'm not gonna, you know, send her home. They were asking the girls like, what do you think? So obviously the girls are gonna advocate for their Casa Amor buddy, you know, Coco. And, you know, fine, you know, Coco does deserve a chance. But, you know, Alandra has been OG day one. Like, this is really Friendship Island at this point in time. So the Nick and Ace were basically like, Alandra. Then when I went to Clarke was just like, come back to me. They wanted to send Alandra home. Taylor's like, oh, if we let her stay, she might want to explore me. Like, he did not want her there. But at the end of the day, the boys decided to stay, to let Alandra stay. He spoke up and he was just like, you know, how Alandra went through all these situations in here, you know, let her stay. Like,
Alandra.
they let her stay. Alandra's safe, Elon's safe, you know, Coco went home, Zach C, JD went home, and Vanna went home from Casa Amor. So only 4 people. There is 20 people in that villa, which is like, there's way too many bodies. There's way too many bodies in here. I mean, there's going to be another vote some way, somehow down the line, but going to be movie night first, or is it going to be a vote first before they dump somebody? But the movie night needs a little bit more people though, because just to see how things play out. So Chris, he's coupled up with Huda. You know, Elon is still in the villa, so they're like, you know, maybe Sierra might, you know, want to explore it out, but it really depends on what she sees. Granted, I mean, the only thing she's gonna see is that, I mean, I feel like Alandra's gonna tell her that her and Nick shared a kiss, and at the end of the day, she probably might get over it. But I mean, seeing it at movie night might be like, okay, you know, iffy and whatever. But hopefully, you know, Alandra sees Taylor does not like her, does not want her. Let's get her a cowboy, somebody new, somebody fresh. Because I mean, it's just not looking good for, you know, my sister in Christ. Please do not run back to Taylor, because this man does not want you. He picked Clarke over you. Like, let that be known. Put Clarke over you. He didn't even want to advocate for you to be here. Like, that should tell you a lot. Like, this man does not want you in here, does not want you. Like, no. Anyways, the episode ended with Shelly and Ace just basically, you know, being coupled up and kissing, like, and that was the end of the episode. Like, that was just basically the cherry on top. Like, my people, like, when has ever Casa Amor, like, neither person in the couple has, like, you know, kissed outside of a challenge, or, you know, brought somebody back or whatever, like, had that little angst back and forth situation. Like, when has that ever happened, when your person, you know, actually passed the test for real? Like, I mean, I know that's gonna dive into the little, you know, scammer situation, but like, we don't care, okay, if that even does fall into it, because remember Love Island season 2? Love Island season 2. Okay, if you were there, you know what I'm a veteran at this, okay? So yeah, let that be known. But I'm just glad my clients are good, Alandra is safe, you know, we up at the end of the day. Nicolandra, I mean, it was nice. I was on board in the beginning. You know, what happened yesterday's episode was fun, but the fact that it just got shot down real quick, I mean, because at the end of the day, the girls are really tight with Alandra. Like, you know, Amaya was about to, you know, get somebody. Even Andrina was about to be like, Taylor, what you're doing.
No. Taylor, are you serious?
We just got her back.
So I'm just like, the girls and Alandra are like this. So if that even occurred, it just wouldn't have been good for her. It wouldn't have been a good look for Alandra. It would have been very messy. because it would have split the whole girl dynamic in there, to be honest. So with that being said, you know, I'm glad it's over, whatever. I mean, Nick, you know, made his decision. He wants to, you know, see things through Sierra. You know, Alondra needs her a new cowboy, and Shalace in 5. But anyway, guys, if you like the video, comment down below your thoughts, comments, concerns, and subscribe to my channel, subscribe. Anything you guys watching this video, peace.